A goldfish invasion in Colorado. One lake is full of the pet swimmers, and the numbers have reached more than 3,000.
Talk about a great catch. Wait until you see the fish a woman snagged from Truce Lake.
Hello everybody, my name is Dusty, and welcome to my channel. This is a little bit unusual, the way I'm set up, the way I'm wearing my hat, and the things I'm doing, primarily because this is a new series where I do a ton of research on one particular topic and then present the findings to you all. Something that a lot of you thought was interesting in one of the videos I made was that I'm a political science major, and in that major I have to do research all the time. In fact, I'm currently doing a research project. So that made me think, I am physically being trained how to do research. Why don't I do a series that involves doing research? So I created this series called Invasive Species, where I look into different invasive species from around the world and tell you guys the story of how they came to be. Most of these invasive species are invasive because of aquarists like us, or because of the uneducated public that release fish into some form of ecosystem. In the wild, goldfish turn from pet to pest. City hauls over a ton of invasive goldfish. Warnings about salt-resistant goldfish. Sewer officials warn of gargantuan pet goldfish destroying ecosystem. Researchers find giant goldfish living in saltwater estuaries. These titles of articles that are found in newspapers are just a few of the thousands that are found on Google. Just by doing a simple Google search and spending a total of 5 minutes on the website, I was able to come up with all of these titles. I did read most of these articles, and in them, a lot of the same information is repeated. 2 decades ago, someone dropped a handful of unwanted pet goldfish into a creek in southern Australia. These goldfish grew, swam downstream, mucked up waters wherever they went, and spawned like mad. Before long, they took over the whole river. The United States government played a large role in this. According to Katrina Gulliver, a historian who has chronicled the goldfish, for decades in the late 1800s, the newly established Commission of Fisheries gave goldfish to Washington, D.C. residents as a publicity stunt, handing out as many as 20,000 fish in some years. Now, these articles first point out to me that humans are definitely the cause of the invasive goldfish. We move them around, we put them in tanks, and when we don't want them anymore, we throw them away. And what do? We either flush them down the toilet, and back then, in these days, there wasn't a great sewer system. Usually, the sewers went right into the rivers, and you know what? When our goldfish went down the sewers, they went right into the rivers too. In some cases, birds would come down, pick up the goldfish, and move them to a different pond, drop them. Things happen. It happens all the time. You sometimes see a pond with no fish in it suddenly have fish because of that kind of movement. So what do we do now? They have evolved over time. They can withstand, in some cases, even slight salinity. So they're now moving south towards the oceans and the gulfs and streams and things like that because they can withstand it. They've spent literally 100 years or more moving around and evolving themselves to get to that point. So now that we're in the early 2000s, humans are starting to realize this is a terrible thing and we need to fix it. Scientists have issued warning after warning about this, but the common person still hasn't heeded those warnings. Even today, sometimes you see invasive species being released in public ponds and parks because, why not? So what are the governments doing to help with this? Goldfish are one of the world's most invasive aquatic species, with outbreaks having been reported in Nevada, Colorado, and Alberta, Canada in the last several years. That is absolutely shocking. You don't really think about it because you don't hear it that much. And the only reason why I really heard about this was because there was an outbreak in Australia where goldfish were actually being found in places where there was salt concentration in the water. So what does all this have to do with us? Us fish keepers, us aquarists, us people who actually care about the well-being of fish. Well, oftentimes we have the best of intentions. Sometimes things don't go exactly the way it plans to. For example, the recent hurricanes in the southern United States. I'm sure there were tons of homes that kept fish, and when those hurricanes went through, they completely devastated the house and spread the fish to local waterways. While that might seem kind of out there, it happens all the time. The outbreak of Burmese pythons in Florida happened because a hurricane went through and devastated a breeder's house, threw snakes into the swamps nearby, and next thing you know, you have a large population of snakes. While those things might be considered acts of God, we can help prevent other aquatic keepers from throwing their fish into local ponds. If you know somebody who has a large goldfish that they won't be able to take care of forever, offer to take it off their hands or show them a way to get rid of it. Show them a humane society or a fish store that wants those kinds of fish. Meanwhile, to ensure goldfish invasions don't get worse, it's crucial that pet owners get rid of unwanted fish responsibly, says Winta Walters, a biology professor at the University of Central Florida, who has helped produce 2 children's books on the dangers of emptying home aquariums into local waterways. This is important because they're showing children early on that we should not be dumping our aquariums into local waterways. This is a perfect example of actually putting into action a plan to help protect our environment. She goes on to say, the best strategy is to give healthy fish away to responsible aquarium pet store hobbyists. Dr. Walters said in Florida, the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission takes unwanted exotic pets off of people's hands on a regular scheduled amnesty days. So I hope this kind of gives you an insight on why we need to protect our waterways and why we shouldn't be dumping our own pets into waterways or down drains, things like that. Something that I really didn't cover, and I probably will in the future videos, are why we shouldn't put our dead fish down the toilet. That's something I learned recently that is really actually mind-blowing on why we shouldn't do it, and that's going to be in the next episode. So if you found this video helpful, educational, and you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment down below with one animal or plant or something that's invasive that you would like me to look at next, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.